I just think that when it comes to those really big brands, I think smaller brands gifting things to influencers, up and coming brands, it makes sense because they're trying to get recognized. But when it comes to these big brands, I really feel like they should be advertising a little bit more selectively, because if they're giving their bags just to everybody, all the big influencers on social media, I don't think it really looks that good for them in the long term. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jess. If you love shopping and handbag videos, I would super appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. You know, I'm always trying to think of new topics. Yesterday I was actually scrolling my YouTube, just watching, you know, fellow YouTubers, and a short popped up by Tamara Kalinic, and she was unboxing a new Louis Vuitton bag. So of course I clicked on it, and it so happens that it's a runway piece that I believe will be available to order pretty soon, and this bag was gifted to her to advertise on her channel. In the past, I've noticed Tamara be gifted a few Louis Vuitton bags, such as I think the Vanity PM she had. I believe that these bags that she got gifted did influence me a little bit. You know, there was a phase a few years ago where I was super into the monogram, and especially the reverse monogram, and seeing these bags on influencers kind of brainwashed me to buy these things. I know like bags like the Palm Springs Mini and yeah, like the Vanity PM and the Cans bag were bags that I saw a lot on my social media. Convinced me that these were really special bags. But now, fast forward to now, and Tamara is gifted a Louis Vuitton bag. For some reason, I guess it has less influence on me because I no longer collect Louis Vuitton bags. But what I found really interesting was a few of the comments were kind of like not what you'd usually expect. Like there were a few comments that were like, I love the bag, amazing, you look great. There were some pretty mean comments on there as well, which, you know, just be nice, guys. I don't think it's worth being mean to people on social media. But there were a few comments, I guess, questioning whether gifting bags to influencers is really an effective marketing tool anymore. And one of the comments were they expect us to run out and buy things because they're giving it for free to influencers. It literally defeats the purpose of an influencer to be gifted something for free instead of buying it on their own. And somebody else said, no matter how many influencers are gifted this expensive bag, I don't care for it. There was another comment that said, looks cheap as all get out. These luxury companies have failed miserably. They've taken the lux out of luxury. What do you think, guys? Do you think that gifted bags are having a great impact or are influencing people anymore to buy these bags? Because I think a lot of people are overseeing influencers are showcasing bags on their channel or on Instagram, and I have been gifted things in the past, and I've worked with companies that I truly wanted the gift, and I just, you know, wanted it for myself. But I think that because I've never worked with really big designer labels like Louis Vuitton and Gucci, I've worked with smaller brands that seem a little bit more relatable. I think that those smaller brands, like up-and-coming brands, gifting their items to everyday influencers can sometimes be effective because they're more attainable items. But when big luxury brands gift their items to people who I guess on social media, it can sometimes seem less special. Not because people on social media aren't special, but I remember growing up, like in high school, and you know, Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Chanel were not bags for everyday people. The only way I saw them marketed was either through celebrities and, you know, seeing paparazzi shots of like Paris Hilton or Lindsay Lohan wearing Louis Vuitton, or I would see these pieces advertised in Vogue or InStyle or something, or I was able to view these designer pieces through the windows. If I went to the city, I would see the designer stores and be like, wow, like that's Chanel, amazing, like wow, that's Dior. But now that these big brands are marketing their goods on social media, it's become like more of a normal thing that we're exposed to almost too much, you know, every day. Although I'm interested in fashion, so it's more targeted targeted to people towards me. Like, I'm opening up my Instagram and then I see influencers are gifted the exact same bag, like a certain Dior bag or a certain Fendi bag or a certain Louis Vuitton bag. And at this point, it just seems like a little bit like hard to believe, like a little bit, you know, although I think the influencing of these people in the past was more effective, it's almost been overplayed now, because I think that it was so effective to gift these designer bags to influencers in the past, because these influencers are people that we've been following for a long time, and you almost develop this little bit of a connection with the influencer as opposed to a celebrity. As I said, celebrities I feel like are put on another level that is unattainable and out of your world, but influencers you somewhat make a connection with because they seem more relatable. And when you see an influencer wearing a bag, like a designer bag, you kind of put this thing in your head like, I can buy that bag too. Whereas on a celebrity, I would think, well, that's for celebrities and rich people. That's not for people like me. But the normalization of luxury goods on social media has made luxury pieces more popular in general. And you're seeing big lines outside Louis Vuitton, big lines outside Chanel, because it is becoming more of a common thing to buy luxury goods. And I think it's getting to a point where luxury brands have raised their prices so much that it is feeling a little bit like a joke at this point, especially when the cost of living has gone up dramatically in the last few years. So I think people are starting to get almost irritated by seeing these bags gifted to influencers on social media because, well, it just seems a little bit fake at this point, and the influencers are starting to feel less and less relatable the more successful that they get. And although I don't think it would be as effective if Louis Vuitton gifted their bag to like someone like me who is not super big YouTuber, I think that would actually devalue their brand, to be honest, because I really think that like the reason why Hermes has become so popular is because they don't gift their bags, and weirdly influencers buy Hermes with their own money, and this in a way seems a little bit more genuine. And I think that when Louis Vuitton gift their bags to too many influencers, it loses the exclusivity of the brand, and it just seems like, you know, well, Louis Vuitton is just a little freebie now, isn't it? Or even Dior. It's ironic because Hermes has become so popular, I think due to the fact that they don't gift their bags. I just wanted to ponder the question as to whether the way that these luxury brands market their bags is going to change again in the future, and whether influencers are really going to have as much of an impact long term as they used to. Because I see that YouTube is evolving, and, you know, we're getting into TikTok and that sort of thing. As someone who has grown up with the internet and different social media platforms, I feel a great like disgust for joining TikTok. I don't know why. I do have a TikTok, but I never use it. I just don't want another thing to affect my life, because to be honest, social media has affected my life in many ways. I use it now more to my advantage to, I guess, have a creative space for myself and get a little bit of extra money, but you know, in the past it really kind of took over my life, and it made me feel like it was a bit of a distraction, you know, from my own life, and it definitely put me down this headspace of over consuming and you know, buying things that are really not for people like me. You know, I'm just an average girl. I'm not somebody who should be buying these super expensive things, but I think influencers in a way made that feel like it was a normal thing to do, and I think people are starting to in a way wake up to that and think, you know, this is not a normal thing to do, to spend $10,000 on a bag. And to be honest, these influencers are not even paying their own money for these bags, so why should I put my money towards it? I don't know, guys. I think that Louis Vuitton, Dior, Fendi, all those brands are still going to gift their bags to influencers, but I wonder if over the next 5 years these kinds of ways of advertising are going to change and evolve, and whether we'll like go back to whether these brands will try and kind of become a little bit more exclusive. You know, I think that is why they've been increasing their prices so much. I really do think that brands gifting their bags to influencers and kind of exposing themselves on social media too much, it does damage the image of the brand, and it makes it look less valuable in a way. And I feel like true luxury is becoming those brands that are lesser known and quiet, and if you know brands, which I've noticed that trend on social media as well, but that I also feel like is becoming less special because quiet luxury is a trend, which it really shouldn't be in a way. So obviously, if any brands want to gift me things, I'll happily advertise it, but I just think that when it comes to those really big brands, I think smaller brands gifting things to influencers, up-and-coming brands, it makes sense because they're trying to get recognized. But when it comes to these big brands, I really feel like they should be advertising a little bit more selectively, because if they're giving their bags just to everybody, all the big influencers on social media, I don't think it really looks that good for them in the long term. But let me know what you think, guys. So anyways, thanks for listening to my video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye!